today, Carly Kozlowski wandered outside. The 2.5-year-old was trying to follow her dad to work, but he had already pulled the car out of the garage. It was the middle of the night. The temperature was more than 20 degrees below zero. Carly was wearing boots and a red winter coat over top of her pajamas. When she tried to go back inside the house, she couldn't reach the doorknob. A few hours later, Carly's mother found her, frozen solid. Carly was declared clinically dead that day, but she has made a remarkable recovery. Carly is now 17 years old, and she joins us on the line from Wisconsin, where she's visiting a friend. Her father, Robert Kozlowski, is also on the line. He is in Regina. Hello to you both.
Hi.
Hi.
It's horrible that this could happen to anyone, let alone it being your own daughter. You know, it's a horrific feeling coming home and seeing her laying there, and for all intents and purposes, you don't think she's going to make it. So, yeah, it's still tough to think about.
Are you blaming yourself, even though it wasn't your fault?
You know, I to tell the truth, I did for a long time. Even though you know intellectually that, you know, you can't protect your child from everything, and there really wasn't anything I could have done to prevent it. You still think that in your heart that I should have done more. But you know, over the years, I've come to grips with that, and I'm a lot better than I used to be.
So what actually did happen that day?
Well, I had been off work for a while with a shoulder injury, and I just recently started back to work. So Carly wasn't really used to me being going away from home, and we spent a lot of time together. So I got up that morning, as usual, went down, showered, shaved, the usual things, and Carly happened to wander down behind me, which again wasn't unusual. I mean, if she heard somebody up, she was a fairly light sleeper. So I took her back up and put her in bed with her mom, and I went down and left. And of course, we had a detached garage. When I pulled out, I closed the garage door, got back in the car, and I realized I'd left the garage light on. And I thought, it was kind of blizzardy. I thought, I can wait till I get home. It's not a big deal. Sometime shortly thereafter, Carly must have gone back to her own room, which looked out onto the garage, and she saw the light on. And from what she told us afterwards, she went out to find me. And of course, when I wasn't there, she went to go back in the house and just couldn't reach the doorknob.
And how did you hear about what had happened?
When Carrie found her that morning, she brought her in, and we were both members of the volunteer fire department and had both been trained in first aid and CPR. Carrie tried to do CPR and couldn't get chest compressions. So she called a couple of local nurses for help, and then she phoned my work. And of course, they called me to the phone, which was unusual. They don't usually allow you to take personal phone calls. So I went in, talked to Carrie. She told me that Carly had frozen, and of course initially I thought maybe she froze a finger or something. And she said, no, she's frozen solid. I found her outside, and you know, Carrie came right out and told me that she wasn't breathing, she was dead. Which of course panicked me quite a bit.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that moment is like, to be told that over the phone about your child.
Yeah, you can't even think. Like, I tried to be calm. I told Carrie, well, she said that the nurses were coming. And I said, well, you go deal with that. And have you called an ambulance? And she said, not yet. And I said, well, I'll call the ambulance.
Robert, she was clinically dead, right?
For all intents and purposes, I understand from the doctors that her heart was stopped when she reached the hospital. So.
And we interviewed back then one of the doctors, and he talked about the process of slowly warming her blood, and what a medical miracle that was.
Yeah, we were told at one point that she actually set records in about 9 different areas, not just with the lowest core temperature.
What else?
One of the things, and I'm not really sure how this works, but one of the things that I do remember is the heart surgeon spoke once and told us that the acidity level in her blood, now whether it was too high or too low or whatever, was way beyond what they thought you could ever bring anyone back at. And he said at one point, possibly had we had the lab results before her heart started beating, we may not have continued trying to revive her.
What an incredible thought.
Well, everything just worked out for us.
Yeah.
I mean, we were very, very lucky.
Carly, I want to ask you about the road back, because it wasn't as if you just got up and then restored, the life that you had before. So can you tell me a little bit about medically what has happened to you over the years because of this?
Well, I've always tried to make sure that I wasn't different in any ways, and I've always fought to try and be as normal as everyone else as I can. So even when I do have the surgeries, and I've had a few over the years still, because my knee is still really weak from it, because my kneecap didn't grow, and I'm about to have another surgery sometime soon.
Well, I'd like to thank both of you very much for talking to us this morning. Carly, thank you.
Yep.
All the best to you and to you, Robert.
And thank you.